Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Apologies that you can barely see me. I'm recording in complete darkness because I've had no power for 96 hours. However, irrelevant. We are about to have the biggest chess tournament of the year, the Candidates Tournament for 2026, to determine that man on screen's challenger, Gukesh. His next challenger. He, of course, defeated Ding Liren to become Classical World Champion, and now we must decide his first challenger. Chess-Based India creates some amazing Dune-inspired graphics. They're on screen now. Wei, Matthias Blubom, Fabiano Caruana, Hikaru Nakamura, and the lot. And we're going to discuss everything going in to this historic candidates cycle, I think. Lots to discuss, so we're just going to get straight into it, really, and then we will get to my predictions at the end. So the first thing we need to look at, and it's a big consideration, but not as much as you would think. So the candidate scores against the field. Now, this is all the games that they have played against the other 7 players in the field. So you can see the best percentage actually belongs to Matthias Blubom, who is probably, according to consensus, the most likely to struggle in this event. Now, he's only got 8 games and 2 wins, 5 draws and 1 loss. The next best score is Hikaru. 20 wins, 79 draws, 10 losses, 54.6% score. And then in bronze medal is Anish Giri. 13 wins, 69 draws, which is a nice number, and 12 losses. Then it's Praggnanandhaa on 50%. Fabiano Caruana 49.1, Jokivar Sindarov on 45, and then Andrei Esipenko 31.8. Now, of course, the number of games played matters a lot. So I would love to draw your attention to a Chess-Based India article that was recently published. And we've now got the candidates and their scores from January 2025 to March 2026. And this is against 2,700 opposition. And I think this gives us a far better tale of the tape when it comes to these players. Now, Nakamura has the highest rating. He's gained 8 rating points in those 13 months. But he's played the second least amount of games against 2,700s. Only Esipenko has played less. So Hikaru has played 16 games against 2,700 or higher rated players, with 4 wins and 1 loss and 11 draws, so a +3 score. Fabiano Caruana has played the most. He has lost 8 rating points, but he's got a +4 aggregate score. 33 draws, 10 wins, 6 losses, so he is looking very, very strong. Then we've got Wei. He's got 37 games. He's the next highest rated player, 2754. He's gained 3 rating points from his 2751. 2 wins, 5 losses, 30 draws, -3. He is the only player with a negative net score against 2,700s in the last few months. We've got Giri, 34 games for a +2, but Giri, Sindarov, and Blubom are the only ones to make massive rating gains. Giri picking up 22 points, Sindarov picking up 53 points, and Blubom picking up 55. Prague's rating has not changed. Esipenko is -1 rating, Wei +3, Fabi -8, Hikaru +8. Obviously, other than Wei, everyone is plus scores, +2 for Giri, +4 for Sindarov, +3 for Prague, +3 for Blubom, and +1 for Esipenko. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's a lot. We're talking about lots of numbers, lots of different matchups, and it's really difficult to wrap your head around this. Now, obviously, this is one of the most low-rated candidates, shall we say, in terms of the physical ratings that the players have as of the time of the candidates. But you would argue, just looking at the delta on this table, that Sindarov, Blubom, and Giri are probably underrated. Giri is not a 2750 player. He is a very close to 2775 or so. He should not have been down at 2731. Fabi is a bit low. He's 2795. We know he's a 2800 caliber. The only 2 players we really have to question here and their actual strengths are Hikaru and Andrei Esipenko. The reason I say that, and that's not to be disrespectful, is that they just simply haven't played enough games against high-quality opposition. Esipenko has lost the rating point. He's -1 from 30 months ago. So his rating is very flat. Hikaru has gained 8 rating points, but he's only played 16 games against 2,700 rated players. Now remember, he had to play 40 games to qualify for the candidates. So if you just take those 40 games, only 16 against 2,700 rated players. So that leaves another, quick maths, 24 games against not 2,700 players, and those players are much lower than him. He's performed well with 4 wins, 11 draws, and 1 loss. But of course, he just recently played his warm-up match against Awanda Liang, and he made 2 draws there, and he seemed a bit shaky. So we shall see how Hikaru goes. Hikaru, for me, is one of the biggest wild cards. I think Fabiano Caruana, Anish Giri, you know what you're getting from them. Wei, we shall see. Hikaru, Wei, and Sindarov are, for me, 3 huge wild cards for this event. There is one more piece of trivia we need to look at, and that is just our potential matchups. Of course, we had the women's one earlier. I didn't change the tab. I should have done that. Apologies. So now we shall change the tab, and we will look at how all of these guys compare against Gukesh. Because these are our potential World Championship matches. It will be Gukesh, the World Champion. Obviously, Fabiano Caruana first on the list. 2 wins, 2 losses against Gukesh, with 9 draws. Then we've got Anish Giri. Again, 1 win for Gukesh, 3 wins for Anish Giri. He's got a positive score. He's got a very good record against Gukesh. Matthias Blubom has only played Gukesh twice, but has won a game. Won and drawn. Has undefeated against Gukesh. Chokivar Sindarov, 3 games against Gukesh. 2 wins. He's got a very good record against the world champion. And it's not rare. It's not a lot you see this. The only person who's really struggled against Gukesh is Wei. 3 losses and 3 draws. No wins in 6 against Gukesh. Andrei Esipenko has picked up a victory against Gukesh, although has lost 2. So he's also a net negative, but not quite as bad as Wei. Prague has got a +1. Now for me, obviously there are other matchups. The All-Indian Clash is something that I think interests a lot of fans. The Gukesh versus Prague potential matchup. And where better place to hold it potentially than India. If it's an all-Indian affair, you could have it well in India. It will do numbers, and it'll be very interesting because I think in a lot of hearts and minds, Prague is the number 1 Indian player, despite the fact Gukesh is world champion. So we shall see. Prague has got a good score, 5 wins, but 4 losses. 4 wins for Gukesh, so it's only +1 and 10 draws. I think they have played each other the most out of any potential matchup. And then Hikaru Nakamura, again, a positive score against the world champion. Only 2 out of the 8 players have got a negative score against the world champion. When was the last time we could say that? Hikaru, only 5 games, 2 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss. And so now we must predict what is going to happen. All of this information we have, there are my predictions for the women's, and now we must predict the Open. Now this is the order it's given it to me in, but I don't agree with this order. For me, Fabiano Caruana is my firm favorite. I think Anish Giri is going to be strong. I don't know how strong, but I'm going to put him in 3rd place. In 2nd place, this might shock some people, I'm going to put Chokivar Sindarov. Sindarov, I think, is very strong. And I think he will have a fantastic tournament. Anish Giri, I said, is 3rd place. And then I think Hikaru Nakamura finishes 4th. Hikaru, Wei, and Sindarov, as I mentioned earlier, are my biggest wildcards. I'm placing them quite high. I think Esipenko and Blubom, that's about right. And then I think Prague 6th. Now, it's very interesting. Because the question comes in, how many games do you need to win? And who do you beat? Now, you could imagine the top of the field. So, for example, Fabi, and if Hikaru has a fantastic tournament, they could beat Esipenko and Blubom twice. The question then becomes, could you beat Sindarov twice? Sindarov, a very good player. He's in a phenomenal vein of form. I don't think Hikaru and Fabi beat him twice, if they even beat him once. Anish Giri is a player that is very difficult to beat. You're not going to beat him twice. Wei and Prague are 2 players that could go either way. Wei is a phenomenally strong player. He's probably played the game of this century, and he's a phenomenal player, but he doesn't play a lot. He's a very difficult player to call. So again, and now we have to talk about Praggnanandhaa Rameshbabu. I don't know how he stacks up. When you think back to last year, Prague was in the tournament, but he was nowhere near the top. There were 4 players near the top. It was Gukesh who ultimately went on to win. Hikaru, who played him in the final round and needed to beat him to try and throw his hat in the mix. And there were 2 other players. Jan Nepomniachtchi, who's not in this event, and Fabiano Caruana. So if you think about that, Prague was bottom half last time out in 2024. Does he improve against this field? You could make the argument, if we're going with candidates' experience, that Hikaru Nakamura deserves 2nd place and Praggnanandhaa could easily claim a 3rd or a 4th, with Anish Giri taking the spot that he doesn't. And then Sundarev and Wei slip down. Sundarev's in fantastic form. Prague had a very rough start to the year. He did not have a great title steal. And that is what I'm basing this on. If you disagree with Prague's ranking, that is the one that makes me the unhappiest about this prediction. Like Hikaru Nakamura, again, a difficult player to call. Him and Prague are really difficult for me. Because, as I said, Hikaru is a wild card for me, and for a lot of people, he's one of the favorites. I don't understand why. Hikaru Nakamura is the oldest player in the field. He has not played much classical chess. In fact, much serious classical chess. Let's even put it at that. He had a warm-up match. Now, maybe I'm reading too much into that, where he made 2 draws. And then lost overall. He had a very shaky thing in the Speed Chess Championship. He elected not to play the FIDE Freestyle World Championship, which Sundarev and Fabi did. Fabi has had a fantastic start to the year. Sundarev did very well in Tata Steel. So did Giri. He was up there. Prague did not. Estepenko and Brubom, with all due respect to them, they are the weakest players in the field. I expect them to be near the bottom, unfortunately for them. So ladies and gentlemen, I've given you all my thoughts. But let me know what you think is going to happen in this candidate cycle for 2026. And ultimately, who is going to challenge Gukesh? And which matchup would you like to see against Gukesh? For me, there are 2 that stick out. Fabiano Caruana and Chokivara Sundarev. Both for their